In February 2025, I made money from 6 income streams. Let's get into it and find out what they were. Welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Laura, and on this channel I am talking about leveling up my financial well-being and hopefully inspiring others to do the same, or at least to show you that if you start small and gradual, it will eventually take you to where you want to be. I do have a second channel now where I'm posting sort of more lifestyle-y, more health and fitness stuff. I had originally wanted to post it all on here, but it's become quite apparent that most of the people here are here for finance content. If you are interested, I will link my other channel in the description. So let's get into the money I made in February. As always, my biggest income stream is my day job. This is my wage. I work in the NHS. I work full time. Hopefully I won't have to forever, that's why I'm doing this. I got £2,157.93. I have to keep glancing down at the laptop, so bear with us. My wage pays all the bills. Anything additional goes into my savings. Some of my wage does go into savings. I do go through that in my monthly budgeting videos. Some of it goes into free trade. Some of it goes into savings, and then I use it for like spending pots, so any spending that I've forecast for the near future or in the next year. Moving on to my side hustles. So I have a few Etsy shops. As I've mentioned before, one of them gets the sales, the other ones have kind of died down because I don't put the work in. I am hoping to find some time to do that this year. I am currently almost finished 75 hard. It is Tuesday today and I finish it on Sunday, so after that I'm going to kind of reassess my goals, look at where I'm spending my time. Part of 75 hard is that you have to read 10 pages of a self-improvement book. Now, I listen to self-improvement podcasts and books while I'm out walking the dog, so I'm thinking now that the time that I was spending reading is the time that I spend on side hustles, which will give us 15 to 20 minutes a day, which should hopefully add up and compound over time. Anyway, my main Etsy shop sells art prints. I have gone through this in more detail in previous videos. It's print on demand in that some of the designs I've already created. I've created all the colour options and synced them to a print on demand platform, meaning that if someone buys it on Etsy, it is integrated and the sale will just go through and I don't need to do anything. I don't need to physically print anything off or go to a post office, which is what makes it work for me, because obviously I'm working full time and I have other things on, so going backwards and forwards to the post office just opens me up to bad Etsy reviews and not getting things sent off on time. I do also have some custom orders on there. That is my biggest seller currently, so obviously that isn't as automatic. I do have to do the custom elements of the design, but once that's done I just send it off. It's literally sitting tinkering about on my iPad and then it's ready to go. So Etsy in February, I made £38.60. This is my revenue minus fees, printing costs and Canva. So I pay for Canva Pro, that's £10.99 a month. Etsy fees are quite high, but you're using their platform, so you can kind of forgive it. I'm not at a point where I could expand my shop and have my own website. Like, Etsy does drive the traffic and the sales that I get, so that kind of is what it is. And obviously printing costs, because I outsource my printing, it does cost slightly more than if I was printing at home, but obviously I'd have the cost initially of buying the printing equipment, so it doesn't equal itself out at all. I do pay more for the ease of not having to print and ship orders myself. But £38.60 is not bad. It's not as good as the other months. I will put a graph here, so it's even down sort of year on year for February. But I'm not really worried, because the last 3 months on Etsy have been quite good. I'm happy for it to fluctuate slightly. As I say, I am planning on putting more work into it, so while it's just ticking along, I'm kind of happy with anything it brings in. Moving on to passive income. So a lot of people will tell you that having a print on demand shop on Etsy is passive. I don't believe that it is, just because of the work that you put in on the outset. You've still got to do all that planning around it. You still have to kind of build that shop up as a business. So to me, it's not passive. It can be passive down the line, but you've still put that work in at the beginning. So my passive income covers things where I literally don't have to put any work in. It can be automated if I wanted it to be. It's not, but I just put money into different places every month that then generates me more money. So the first place that I do this is dividends. So I made all of £2.80 in February from my dividend payments. To see which companies did pay me in February, I do have a full breakdown monthly of dividend payments that I get. I will link that in the description for you to have a look at. It also covers like the year on year, and it is increasing, which is good. So £2.80 does sound small, but that's just dividends. I also make money from the stock prices changing, but I just like to track my dividends because it's like just someone handing you free money for you keeping your money somewhere, which is nice. Another way I make passive income is through interest. So this is just through holding my savings in savings accounts that pay interest. And in February, I made £40.73 from this. In my other category, so these are things that do change sort of month to month, I have made some money from free shares. I haven't sold those shares yet, and if I do, it will be just to rebuy more companies. I won't be taking this money out, it won't be hitting my bank. But I did make £62.57 from free shares. So this is from people clicking on my free trade link. If you click on that, we'll both get a free share. It can be anything. I've had Coca-Cola, I've had Chinese ETFs. There's like the possibilities are endless. Anyway, so that's really good. It's kind of monetizing YouTube, I suppose, because that's the only place that I post the link. I don't get paid by YouTube yet. I'm not far away. So once I do, that will be added onto these videos. But in the meantime, it's nice to be able to say I made £62.57 from YouTube from a free trade link. Another way I made money was Facebook Marketplace. I did initially want to sell more, but I just had like a sudden burst of, right, I want to sell them. They're in my way. It was just some light shades from my old house. So sold both of those for a tenner. The person that got them got an absolute bargain. For me, they've been sat in the corner of the room, so they've gone and I'm getting an extra tenner from it, so it works out fine. So now I'm just going to show you my earnings year on year, show you where they have improved, and just give you a little bit of background on this. I'm going to throw a graph up on the screen now that shows you my earnings in February for the last 3 years. So this includes my wage. So with the NHS, your wage kind of does go up every year. We've also getting a pay deal where we got, I can't remember the percentage they increased it by, but it got increased last year. Hopefully the same will happen this year. It kind of goes up with inflation. So in February 2023, had £1,943, and since then it has surpassed the £2,000 mark. The last 2 years, as you'll see, the gap isn't quite as big, I don't think. No, the gap isn't quite as big. I will explain that in just a second, but it is nice to see that increasing. Again, most of it is from my wage. So just to kind of illustrate that, I'm going to show you a graph that is purely my additional income. So in February 2023, it was a lot smaller. It was £52.75. February 24 was higher than February 25, but there was a reason for that. So before I bought this house, I'd sold my previous house and we were looking for another house to buy. So I had a lot of money in savings. So I had like over 30 grand that I'd put down on this house that was just that generating money. So that's kind of where that came from. That's why that is so much higher. But I mean, an extra £154 in a month this month is nothing to be sniffed at all. And as I say, this money that I make that's additional does stay either in a savings account, so then that money goes on to make money with interest, or I invest it, so then it goes on to make more money in growth and in dividend payments. So it's a win-win. I'm lucky that I can cover my bills and a portion of my savings with my wage, so that any additional money I am making, it's not that I'm living beyond my means and I'm needing to top up with additional money. Like, this is all going to sort of fund my future. So that's really nice. So that is it for this month. I don't know how long it'll be. So I've hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is one of the criteria that you need to be able to make money off AdSense. I still need to hit my 4,000 watch hours. I think as of today, I've got 2,600, so I'm still a way off yet. But I am just, my whole goal here is to just increase it every year, just make sure that there's little gains. I mean, obviously, when I had my big interest payments, I'm not going to match that for a while because I don't have over 30 grand's worth of savings sat in an ISA. But I think I will get there, like watching it and making these videos and documenting it, and it's kind of making me sit down, like when I'm putting data into these graphs that I'm showing you, and it's like actually it is really small numbers. Like I'm not gonna be retiring in the next 5 years. It's just nice to know that something is happening, it is going up. So my first goal is to match my wage from my additional income streams, and that's not to quit my job, not at all. I don't think that the other money that I'm making is consistent enough or reliable enough, but if I can invest the same amount as I'm earning in my day job, it kind of brings that flexibility of not total financial freedom, but it just gives us more options down the line. So if I have kids, I could work part time and not worry as much about money, because I mean things like that are expensive, aren't they? Like I don't know how people afford it. I was just talking about this the other day. I don't know how people afford it, because when I look into it, it's a lot. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that now. Maybe one day, but not today. I think just to be able to like cut my hours down at work and to kind of know in the back of my mind that I've got this money sat here, or that I could not work for X amount of years if a job was getting too much for me, or if I wanted to change, like, or even just what's it called, barista-fi, which is like financial independence, where you've made enough money to just have like a job that you're not taking home with you, just like a nice job that you want to do, where you're not taking that stress home, where there's not too much responsibility placed on you that you feel really overwhelmed, but you've got that little bit of money coming in, but then you've got this other pot of money that's funding you from this side as well. Just something to think about. I do think that when I look at my retirement age and it's 68, which means I have to work my whole life over, it just pushes me more to want to do things like this. And I get that that's not for everyone. Some people are happy and some people are really career driven, but that's kind of not me anymore. I used to be like that. I have been thinking about making some videos about that, about like my history with finances and how I used to feel about things versus how I feel now. If you would be interested in that, please let me know. I've also, this isn't my first rodeo with side hustles. I've done all sorts of stuff that hasn't worked. So I was thinking of covering those. Spoiler alert: there's a lot of pyramid schemes in there, but don't don't tell the pyramid scheme people because they'll come for us. But yeah, there's kind of a lot that I've been through to get to this point. So if you're not, please don't feel discouraged, because you can start whenever you want, just by putting, even if you just invested £10 a month, that can grow over time. Yeah. I am rambling now, so I'm going to go. But thank you for watching. If you are interested in this kind of content, please subscribe and stick around for future videos. If you do content like this, please also let me know, because I'm really nosy and I love watching other videos like this just to see where other people are making the money, see what decisions they're making. I find it really interesting. I don't know why. Maybe I am just really nosy. I am going to go. I will see you next time. Bye.